Trump's crackdown on peaceful protests in Los Angeles is not just worse than you think, it's really only just the beginning. And while the right tries to mask it as law and order, it's truly the beginning of an authoritarian crackdown. Trump's response to these protests is reckless, dangerous, and a clear warning sign of what's to come. Be sure to like and subscribe as we break down what's really happening in LA, and why it should terrify all of us. Now, as we've all heard by now, there are major protests going on in LA this week, which have escalated over the weekend in response to the many fascist actions taken by the Trump administration. The main cause was, of course, the insane mass deportations. ICE has ramped up their actions, grabbing people off the streets, out of work, and in front of their friends and family. And as usual, they are still picking up the wrong people, such as this recent clip of ICE arresting a woman who was on vacation from South America and leaving her daughter on the street.
No, my son, please. Con la cresta, mi hija.
Man. Excuse me, officer. This is her daughter.
One of the final straws for Californians, however, was when several of their congressmen tried to inspect a massive new ICE detention facility in LA. People in Congress are allowed to inspect government facilities, but when Representative Maxine Waters and others showed up, they literally slammed the door in her face.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs.
I need to get in.
Over the past few days, more and more people have come out to protest in LA, which led to ICE trying to attack the protests, which only escalated things further, as you could probably imagine. Now here's the thing, Republicans are trying to frame this as the protesters' fault, but the actions of ICE and police working with them tell a completely different story. The Trump administration is intentionally trying to escalate things by letting its agents run wild, such as this clip where you can literally see police officers trample a protester on the ground with horses and then whip him with rods. You may have also seen a viral clip of a reporter from Australia getting shot with a rubber riot bullet while giving a news broadcast. The ICE is literally trying to scare away reporters so the world won't see what they're doing in LA this week.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA.
You just shut the fuck up. You okay?
I'm good.
Are you okay?
And I want you to take a second here to just think, if this had happened under Joe Biden's presidency and they had just ICE members or police members shooting citizens and reporters, how would that go down? I don't think we'd be seeing nearly the same response from the right as we're seeing right now. And the fact that the government reacted so quickly, so dangerously to protesters this weekend now has some people worried about what's coming next. Donald Trump has talked about invoking the Insurrection Act many times in the past, which would give him emergency powers to direct the National Guard and the military against American citizens. And with the violence from police just completely unchecked, these fears might not be unfounded. And today, we may have gotten just one step closer to Trump turning government forces against Americans. The second protests began this week, the Trump administration immediately promised to look into sending soldiers into California, and on Monday, we got confirmation that the Marines will soon be sent to Los Angeles.
We have breaking news now from the Pentagon. CNN can now report that roughly 500 Marines are being mobilized in response to the protests in Los Angeles.
And this is a significant escalation from President Trump, who had activated National Guard troops over the weekend without Governor Gavin Newsom's consent. In this new move, active duty military members are being deployed as a show of force against U.S. citizens. CNN's Natasha Bertrand is live for us at the Pentagon. Natasha, what are you learning?
Well, Brianna, this is something that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth had previewed over the weekend. He said that if necessary, he would deploy the Marines to Los Angeles to help federal agents with handling the protests there. And it appears now that these Marines, according to our sources, they have been mobilized. These 500 Marines, a full Marine battalion based out of 29 Palms, California, which is just outside San Bernardino, about an hour away from Los Angeles. They have been mobilized and they are gearing up to go and help ICE agents as well as other federal officials deal with these protests in Los Angeles. Importantly, they're going to be bolstering as well the National Guard, guardsmen and women who have been activated in Los Angeles by President Trump. But as you said, it is a significant escalation of the president's use of the military as a show of force against these protesters. It's really not clear, the last time Marines were deployed to help essentially with riot control, though it's unclear at this point just what their actual tasking will be. Typically, if they are deployed to these situations, it is expected that they will operate in much the same way that the National Guard does, doing things like perimeter security, maybe some crowd control. But the rules of engagement here, we are told, are still being finalized, and Defense Department lawyers are also looking at the kinds of rules of engagement these Marines will have as they encounter protesters possibly on the streets of Los Angeles. But again, this coming at a very, very tense moment with the governor of California suing the Trump administration over, of course, the deployment of the National Guard by President Trump against his will there in California.
Military support for things like protests is extremely rare and only happens in the most dangerous of circumstances. The protests in LA have not had people clash with officers, and only one person was arrested on Saturday. These are not incredibly dangerous times. What's even more terrifying here is that CNN is reporting that Pete Hegseth is mobilizing hundreds of Marines without having announced any directives for them. So that means that right now, they have no plan for what they're going to go in and do. And the problem with this is that Marines are not trained in de-escalation techniques. They don't practice detaining people or dispersing crowds. They train to kill people. That is just what they do. The Trump administration is going to drop 500 Marines with guns in the middle of a protest and just wait to see what happens as tensions rise. This is an incredibly dangerous and stupid idea, and gives credit to the theory that maybe Trump just wants these protests to go bad. Maybe Trump is looking for a reason to claim insurrection and gain unprecedented military authority. The Trump administration has completely mishandled a peaceful protest and turned it into a literal ticking time bomb. And what's worse is that the government itself is the side that keeps raising the tensions. Because why are they literally attacking people on the streets of Los Angeles? These were peaceful protests. So please, let me know what you think of the events happening in Los Angeles this week. Is Trump trying to get dictator-level powers before his birthday military parade next week? Will these protests calm down, or even get worse as the days go on? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe to help support the channel.